So this story is just astonishing. The media has been shamefully ignoring a historic coal miner strike. This is something that's now been going on for, well, actually, you know what? Let me go ahead and go through the specifics of it. I'm going to save that fact for later. I'll tell you how long this strike has been going on in a little bit, okay? So, in 2016, there was a takeover of a failing coal company by this new coal company called Warrior Met. And when that happened, there were massive profits for the buyer alongside, lower pay and fewer benefits for the workers. So they went in there, they cut pay for the workers, they cut benefits, and they made it so that they became profitable. In fact, over time, they got very profitable. So this is in Tuscaloosa County, Alabama, and the workers were caught in this acquisition issue because they also really weakened safety measures. So the company that came in really weakened safety measures for the workers. And understand that coal mining is one of the nation's most dangerous jobs. So there were multiple charges of unfair labor practices that were levied against Warrior Met from the workers. So again, review it. Company comes in 2016, buys this failing coal company, cuts benefits, cuts pay, weakens safety measures, and there's been multiple charges of unfair labor practices against the company. So the miners are saying, when they came in, they said, as soon as we start seeing profits, your wages are going to go up. Your wages are going to increase with the profits. So the profits have gone up, but management reneged on this, and they failed to restore pay and benefits during the contract renegotiations with the workers. So the United Mine Workers of America called a strike. They said, we're not going to stand for this. We're going to strike. Get this. 1,100 miners have now been on strike for 4 months. Over 1,000 miners on strike for 4 months. It's gotten really bad, guys. Some miners were arrested in May while protesting. The company's responsible for that. Miners went to New York City to try to protest the hedge fund that's backing Warrior Met, namely BlackRock, the same assholes that are buying up all these houses and making it unaffordable for a lot of people. They thought, hey, maybe we'll get some coverage and we'll get some legs under this thing if we go to New York and protest there. They did. Barely a blip. And then on July 10th, the strike passed its 100-day mark. 2 days earlier, the wife of a striking miner was hit by a car. And the union is saying that the violence was perpetrated by people working for the company. Just saying management is running over workers. Or the worker's wife. And since the media hasn't picked up on this, now hedge funds are increasing their investment in Warrior Met. 1,100 coal miners been on strike for 4 months. Guys, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, I kid you not, have said nothing. Not a word. Not a peep. Not even a passing reference. The revolution will not be televised. I mean, you can see Noam Chomsky's manufacturing consent in real time here. Because the people who work at these big media corporations, who are they more in alignment with? The coal miners who are doing the hard work, or whoever owns the company? They're in the same class as management and the hedge funders who are behind it, BlackRock. So they represent way more the interests of management and the hedge funds. And so they'll just basically be silent. And that's what this is. They're totally silent. Totally silent, haven't said anything. Now, to be fair, local news has picked up on it. Credit to them. And some independent news has picked up on it, of course. But CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, nothing. even when it came to print outlets, I think it was The Nation was one, and then there was one other that I'm blanking on that covered it. But this is a huge deal. It's the first time in 4 decades you've had a coal miner strike. And it's being ignored. And this is how workers get crushed. You have corporate media representing corporate interests, and they're not even giving you an accurate picture of what's happening in this country. So people don't know. They don't know that this is going on and these workers are fighting just to get back to the pay that they had previously. Never mind raises. Unacceptable. This is how bad corporate media is. This is why, like, when we went to Afghanistan, by the time we were in like year 6 or 7, they just stopped covering the fact that we're at war in Afghanistan. And all the corruption that was going on, all the war profiteering, all the waste, $7 trillion wasted, they said almost nothing about it. That's what the media does. CNBC has on CEOs of corporations to tell them everything's fine right before we have giant crashes. They do propaganda for corporate America. All of them do propaganda for corporate America. With MSNBC, it just happens to be the Democratic Party as well that they do propaganda for. With Fox News, it's the Republican Party. But they're all doing corporate propaganda. That's why people don't know when a new report comes out that medical debt doubled in the past 3 or 4 years. They don't know because mainstream media doesn't cover it. They don't know 80% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. They don't know. They don't know that our infrastructure gets a grade of D+ or C-. They don't know. They don't know because it's not covered and it's not talked about. So everybody feels isolated and alienated and walled off from everybody else. But oftentimes, we can overcome it by coming together, getting the word out there through independent new media and spreading it far and wide through social media if you can. You know, that's our only way to beat these people. Corporate media is never going to cover the interesting and important things that they need to cover. They just suck at their jobs, and they represent corporate interests. They're never going to do the right thing. All they're going to do is manufacture consent for Wall Street and the military-industrial complex, for big corporations. That's their job. They hire people who will never rock the boat. But our job in independent new media, and your job as viewers, is to spread the word far and wide, have solidarity with these workers. And, I hope that these things grow, and I hope that these guys can, win out in the long run. But they're not going to win unless they have help. And they need reinforcements. They need the cavalry, for sure. And it's just such a crime. They're so bad at their job. Again, you guys have to come to an idiot YouTuber with a loud mouth like me with no advertising budget whatsoever. You got to come to me to hear about this, which is a story that should have been big news in mainstream media, but they don't even make a passing reference to it. It's unacceptable. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.